I-176 states it would repeal the Montana Marijuana Act. The initiative would eliminate the current differences found between federal law and state law with respect to the legal status of the possession and use of marijuana.
So we believe the delivery process right now in the state of Montana is terrible. There's no testing, there's no measuring, there's no prescription, there's no prescribing, there's no monitoring, and then there's no registering. We just want normal pain medication protocol, and that's not being done in this state. I voted in favor of medical marijuana, but I thought it was going to go through normal medicinal procedure. I'd see a real doctor, a real pharmacist would give me the marijuana, and I'd take care of whatever my issues were with my family. But that's not the case, and that's not how it's done.
The United States is in the midst of the worst drug addiction epidemic in its history. But it's not a crisis of illegal drugs. It's one of prescription painkillers, oxycodone, hydrocodone, and other legal narcotics, all related to opium. Collectively, they're called opioids.
Well, these are the opioid painkillers, and prescriptions for drugs like these have more than quadrupled over the last 15 years, to the extent that the US now consumes more than 80% of the global supply of these drugs.
Overdoses from prescription opioid drugs now kill nearly 17,000 Americans every year. That's one overdose death every 30 minutes.
The overdose rate, which might have been 1 or 2 a month in our emergency department, is now more like 3 or 4 or 5, if not more than that, in a 24-hour period.
I mean, that's a massive increase.
Massive increase.
Over the past 10 years, we've had more than 125,000 Americans lose their lives to painkiller overdose deaths.
We just want normal pain medication protocol, and that's not being done in this state.
The Food and Drug Administration recently approved a powerful new opioid painkiller called Zohydro over the objections of its own medical advisors and dozens of lawmakers.
I thought we had learned our lesson with OxyContin. How can you say with any degree of confidence that Zohydro will not be abused? You're going to have people die.
This week, Fault Lines looks at the battle over the most popular drugs in America, opioid painkillers.
There is big controversy tonight involving a new narcotic painkiller.
The drug about to hit the market is called Zohydro, but many are now asking, is it even needed, and did the FDA ignore warnings by approving it?
At the heart of the debate, whether or not the drug may be too powerful and potentially addictive.
In October 2013, the Food and Drug Administration did something unusual. It approved a new painkiller called Zohydro, despite the fact that its own advisory committee had overwhelmingly rejected the drug.
I was quite surprised. You invite us in and then you tell us, forget it.
I voted no.
I voted no.
I voted no. Are we really, in the long run, helping people, or are we creating an epidemic?
Zohydro is a pure hydrocodone drug that comes in doses up to 10 times higher than Vicodin. The advisory committee feared that it could create a new generation of addicts.
The entire prescription drug epidemic was launched basically from high-dose oxycodone, and many of us felt that a high-dose hydrocodone product would end up in the same place.
The delivery process right now in the state of Montana is terrible. There's no testing, there's no measuring, there's no prescription, there's no prescribing, there's no monitoring, and then there's no registering. We just want normal pain medication protocol, and that's not being done in this state.
And a related surge in the use of heroin. In Portland, this ambulance team responds to an opioid-related call nearly every day.
It's about 10 o'clock on a Friday night. From what we're hearing, there's a 25-year-old male in there who could have had a seizure due to an overdose.
The responders found this man lying on a bathroom floor, unconscious and barely breathing. A syringe and a small bag of heroin were at his bedside.